Marfoogle News live in 3, 2. All right, what is going on, guys? You are looking at a map right now of how close Russia was to our coastline. Again, I'm going to show you this. This is a map of Google Earth with an actual estimate of how far they were and the location of where they were. You will see that this is right up in our stuff. Okay, this is right up in our face. It is a late show tonight. I had a lot of family stuff going on today, so thank you guys for making it because this is going to be a good show. Not to mention, on our next show right after this, I'm going to tell you something that almost no one is saying and no one has put two and two together on this Operation Spear. We'll talk about Operation Spear, Southern Spear, in just a few minutes right after this video. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, we have Russia, a spy ship that was spotted within 15 miles of our coast. It says the U.S. Coast Guard routinely monitors maritime activity around the Hawaiian Islands and throughout the Pacific to ensure the safety and security of U.S. waters. International law allows foreign military ships to transit outside their other nations' territorial seas, which extend up to 12 nautical miles. So if you want to, draw a line on this, they are going right up to it and going, not touching you, not touching you. No, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I mean, it's literally that close, right? The Coast Guard said that the Karelia, a Vishna-class intelligence vessel, which were built for the Soviet Navy in the 1980s, there are 7 such ships still in service, was right off of the coast in the 15-mile marker. It says the Karelia was also spotted off Hawaii in 2021. If you remember, we actually covered that. USNI News reported at the time in 2023 that the U.S. Coast Guard also tracked a Russian ship near the Hawaiian Islands that was believed to be gathering intelligence. Now, since then, we have seen their other ally / our adversary, China, mapping the Hawaiian Islands with weird satellite technology. I don't know if you guys remember that story, but there was a very odd story of these green laser lights coming out of the space. This sounds like fiction. It sounds like a tinfoil hat thing, but it was an actual laser lines that were coming out of the sky that people got pictures of. You can go look it up. In this case, it looked, and a lot of folks believed that they were actually using some sort of scanner to essentially map the islands. Now, that would be useful if you were to attack it via drone, if you have autonomous drones, especially like China does. So is Russia even helping? Possibly Russia. Is Russia actually helping China with their dirty work, or are they doing their own? We'll talk about that and much, much more, again, over this entire night, going over the last 24 hours. Now, before we move on, make sure to go check out EMP Shield. It is, again, something I told you guys to wait for. This is the Veterans Day sale. This is the largest sale they've done in 4 years. So if you've been with me for a very long time, this is actually the best deal you will get on it as far as since you've been watching me. Again, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is a device that will not only protect your generators, your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, pretty much anything with a motor or anything that wants to run, or even electronic devices. They now have one for your modems and your Starlink devices. So if you have a system, you definitely want to protect it. That way, if somebody hits us with an EMP, if somebody does a local EMP, or the sun blows off a huge Carrington level event, you will be protected in all cases. Again, it will protect you against both of those and even lightning in the case of the home. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. The same company is doing tech and outfits for DHS, DOW, of course, the FBI, Air Force. And this is not something you can get in the store, and definitely not for this price right now. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP and make sure to use that code MARF. All right, thank you guys for your patience. Let's bring in my co/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
All right, so, well, first of all, just to go back to the Russian ship for a second, obviously we cover all of the different incursions, planes, obviously a lot of the Alaska incursions where they come close and then we chase them off. In this case, this is kind of like almost a big FU. This is coming so close to Hawaii, to Honolulu in specific, that, people can take pictures of this from land. That's pretty scary. Dex, what did you think when you saw this?
Well, yeah, look, we kind of joked that Alaska and mainland to Russia is 55 miles or something, and they're maybe across a couple of the islands, the little islands that stick out there. There's a couple of mile distance between some of them, but yeah, this is really close. 15 miles is right up in there, and they're saying it was 15 miles off of the coast of Oahu. So that's very close. obviously much closer than we've probably ever reported any of their ships being. Even the one that went to Cuba, wasn't that close. I don't believe.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the map, so what he's also saying about Alaska, it's like it's almost expected you're going to see incursions up here because, I mean, look at how close it is up here, right? This is Alaska, this is Russia. You have a very, very, very small kind of area in between, and you've got America here and Russia right there. It is crazy how close we are. I know it's Alaska, but still, our country is technically that close. Our bases, our military troops that we can move to and from. But that means so are theirs. Going down here, though, that takes effort for them to come down to Hawaii. Again, for them to be down there, that's very specific. Now, I also want to point out that, you had China also pushing the line in the Pacific, going farther than they ever have before with any of their carriers, with their destroyers, with their warships. They actually pushed the line. They did things that broke history. The whole thing, the reason why we've always felt safe is because we have two oceans on either side. Obviously, no one in Hawaii will probably ever feel safe after Pearl Harbor, but as far as this goes, that means that they're over here in the middle of the Pacific, it could go one way and closer to us and one way closer to China and Russia. So it's something to pay attention to. All of you ship trackers and all of you flight trackers, please email us if you see something crazy and the media is not covering it. Please let us know. And if you want to follow that, if we do get a heads up, definitely want to subscribe if you want to know what is going on. All right. And then let's go into the next story. Dex, you want to talk about the weather and what is going on with this?
So yeah, that's I think the wrong article.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's go into the next piece here. I got it.
The weather's wonderful here in Georgia right now. Thank you.
Yeah, screw you.
But look, there's a bot army invasion, and basically this Chinese company has released a video of the iRobot, if you want to call it that. It's Ubatech or something along those lines. But this video they put together of all of their robots basically marching in unison into it's shot in like a sterile white warehouse, and they're all just marching directly and loading themselves up into shipping containers. But it looks literally like an army of robots. And apparently, they slide battery packs out of their back and then put them back into their backs, showing autonomy and dexterity. But the robots are in unison, working kind of like a robot army and marching forward. It's not just a fake video. It's supposed to be their launch of their new product, one of these new robotic products coming out of China. So, I think the first pass at this is to tell people, oh, don't worry, this is for manufacturing. It's what we're building to do automations and things that can help us. But in reality, I think what we got to think about is where are these going in the sense of the traditional term of a robot army, what we all think about, like, okay, when's the battlefield going to be littered with these bipeds that are all just marching in unison like you see in a sci-fi movie? Because it's very much like that.
Yeah, as you can see on the screen. By the way, I may want to check the bookmarks for tonight. The last two, it looks like they're different. And then Ubitech. And what's great about this, hey, and by the way, on your end, you guys can always find a full source and bibliography. What is correct is over on the website, you can see all of the articles, tweets, videos, pictures, document that we're showing you here today. I've used this as a resource live to be able to, if I make a mistake or I screw up or something, I can just go here and find the story, find obviously the articles, the pictures, all of the documents, and even pictures sent in by the Foogle fam or videos. So make sure to utilize it. If you're new here, thank you and welcome. We just had somebody named Paul subscribe. So welcome, Paul, to the Foogle fam. All right. And then let's see here. So let me go into the third piece here, which... Again, fresh off of commissioning the new Sea Craft, China starts sea trials of their amphibious assault ship. Now, if you've watched my channel for a long time, you know I have a history with covering the amphibious assault ships because obviously we had a very, very weird instance with two of them. First of all, I believe it was China that was first. They had an amphibious assault carrier, much like what is on the screen right now. I don't believe it's the same one. It's probably a different one. But it was a ship just like this that was in port that caught fire. I forget if it was like May or it felt like summer, I believe. But the time doesn't matter. Mainly, it was the timing between the two events. You had China, which had their amphibious assault carrier, which you are seeing here. This is not like a typical plane takes off. These are more drone helicopters, drones, things like that. And then out of the back, there's an opening where they have boats and other smaller vehicles that can pop out of it. One of these actually caught fire and just stayed ablaze for 5 days. Now, over the last 2 days, we've actually been talking, and it's funny timing too, we've been talking about how they potentially just solved in China this problem of a particle beam weapon. Or I'm sorry, they don't call it a weapon, particle beam, whatever. Dex, what did they say the tech was? It's particle beams in general, but they solved a problem that may let them essentially make a laser weapon in space, right? Or right, a particle beam.
Yeah, basically they solved the amperage, the wattage, increasing the power, and at the same time increasing the stability down to a very, very fine amount.
Yeah, so in that case, and many of us actually think that the U.S. already has this, or possibly that was what happened. This is my personal opinion. I think that those two ships catching fire, at least, the very least, were sabotaged by two people, one a U.S. agent that was paid in China and a Chinese agent that was paid here. Mind you, if you go, oh, wait, but no, the guy in the U.S., remember they had a guy and he got arrested for that. And he said he hated the Navy and he's the one who set it on fire. And the U.S. version, the U.S., when this happened in the U.S. off our port, it stayed ablaze for 5 days. Remember, there's not just like fuel and curtains everywhere in a Navy ship for it just to keep blazing and blazing. It's steel. It's made of steel, and it blazed for 5 days. So I thought that was weird. But the guy they arrested a year and a half later, or some crazy amount of time later, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, he's not guilty and he didn't do it, with no explanation of who actually did it. There is no perp. Right? And this is millions of taxpayer dollars. Remember that. When this thing burns, it's going to be repaired. And when it's going to be repaired, it's going to be our money. So it was nuts that nobody really asked the question like, wait, if this guy didn't do it, who the hell did? But mind you, these are two amphibious assault carriers that lit on fire. Now, they're releasing these new ones. And I just wonder, around these releases and around some of the events that have been going on, the particle beam thing, was that a threat, in their cheek? When they end up, having the sea trials and things like this, is this a place where they could end up getting sabotaged? Something like that could actually be an act of war. China began sea trials of its most advanced amphibious assault ship on Friday, only a week after commissioning its latest aircraft carrier. Remember, we just covered that as well. It's been left and right, China ship, China plane, China jet, China stealth. Technology that can track our stuff. They are 24/7 working on how they can take over that number one spot. So I hope that people are paying attention. It is not a 100% popular view because there's a lot of people paid not to say exactly what I just did. So again, go to the website if you want to read more about that. But it is a very interesting thing, and there is of course a lot more that they talk about with that ship. But make sure to join us over on the next show, which we're going to talk about the last 24 hours. Make sure to be over there tonight because I just put 2 and 2 together, and I'm telling you, this is going to be a scary time. I don't know if they purposely put something out that directly connects it to a previous event in history, but what we're talking about with Venezuela may very well be super crystal clear, or maybe it's super crystal clear because it is a super big threat right out in the open where no one is even seeing it. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.